For the 14th straight time in regionals, the Tennessee Volunteers are victorious tonight. They have, I'm pretty sure their last loss in an actual regional was in the Chapel Hill Regional back in 2019. 2021, 22, 23, 24, now 25. This team keeps on rolling on tonight. He's Kerry. This is Frank. We're rolling on tonight. And big win for Tennessee baseball tonight. And it kind of caught me off guard at the beginning when they started. And it was like Tennessee's come up to bat. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're the visitor tonight. Such a ridiculous rule. But big win tonight. We're off to the regional finals. We have to be beat twice. Cincinnati, Wake Forest plays tomorrow. The winner of that has to beat us twice, and both of those are going to be on fumes on pitching tomorrow. What's your overall thoughts on tonight as we get into just a big-time performance, in my opinion, tonight?
I would say tonight was a huge win. Tennessee doesn't have just like every other team pretty much, Tennessee doesn't have the luxury of if they would have lost today, they would have been okay pitching-wise the rest of the way. If Tennessee would have lost today, it would have been a deep hole to dig out of pitching-wise. So it was great to get that win. You set up your pitching. I mean, you're perfect. At this point, you've only burned Doyle, Phillips, and Russell. That's the only three pitchers you've burned at this point. So if you do have to play a game tomorrow night and then a game on Monday, you have everybody else that you could possibly want. And you could even possibly, if you needed to, Doyle could probably pitch an inning on Monday if it came down to it. So Tennessee set themselves up in a great position today, getting the win. They got out to 8-2 lead, kind of put on the cruise control there for a while. Things got a little bit hairy there in the ninth, but ultimately it was just 3 outs and it was a 6-run ball game. So it's kind of hard to come back from that. I did like Tony going to Arvidsson there to end the game. You could have stuck with Russell. I mean, it was still the deficit was what the deficit was. It was going to be really hard for them to tie that game, much less win that game in that situation. The way that Russell been pitching, Russell pitched great. Phillips pitched great. I mean, both guys pretty much had some great stuff. The strike zone was just minuscular tonight. Like it was so incredibly small. I noticed that in the top of the first inning, and I was worried about how Phillips would go, considering the fact that the strike zone was as small as it was, and he managed to get 6 innings out of it. So hats off to him for that, because I know he struggled sometimes with being around the zone, but he battled through it tonight, and he came up for us in a big way.
Yeah, I noticed it too, the Cincinnati pitcher. I mean, they squeezed him tight.
Oh, yeah.
There were some pitches in the top of the first that I thought, it's like, man, those look pretty good that they're not calling. Then Phillips got some of the same. I mean, it's like, at least it was both ways, but what are we doing umpiring-wise? What are we freaking doing here? I mean, why have we gotten to this point that it has to be right down the middle, basically, to be a strike? It's ridiculous. And I'll say that in defense of both Cincinnati and Tennessee, because you shouldn't have to put one on a silver platter for it to be a strike. I just think our umpire, maybe the robot idea is not that bad of an idea at this point. But it was very tight tonight. But, yeah, Phillips, everybody, now you look at it, and people, I mean, I kind of agreed too. I was like, I would probably go Phillips 1, Doyle 2. But, man, Tony Vitello calling Phillips out a few weeks ago,
that helped.
It apparently resonated, because ever since that, something's changed. And what did they get? 1 stolen base off of him tonight?
Yep, they got 1 stolen base off of him.
Yeah, teams were stealing anywhere from 8 to 12 off of him. So he got the hint, and he worked on it. And Vitello talked about it in the Arkansas series, which Arkansas was not the standard of stealing bases. Mm-hmm. That's really not their game, but still yet. Any team is going to try to steal on Tennessee, knowing where they've been at. And still, Vitello made mention at Arkansas series when Phillips pitched about how they were kind of having some fun. Elander would see Phillips throw over or do something like, that's a nice new move you got, just kind of making it lighthearted. But, yeah, it's been big, and Phillips was awesome tonight. Got a couple jams pitched out of him. can't ask for much more than that on the night. I mean, I didn't think Russell had his best stuff.
No.
I'm kind of like you. Maybe you could have finished, but I didn't have a problem with him letting Arvidsson pitch to end that game. And we're pretty much set up for tomorrow. I don't know how many pitches Russell threw. They go to this crap on for the NCAA tournament where it's an NCAA box score. It's not the more detailed, thorough one that we normally get. So it doesn't give you pitch counts. It doesn't give you left on base and all that stuff. It gives you the innings, the hits, the runs, walks, strikeouts, batters faced, ERA, but it doesn't give you the pitch counts on it. So how many did you pay attention how many Russell had thrown tonight?
55, I think.
Yeah, he's probably done for the weekend.
Yeah, but my thing with him is once that he came out, they're not going to pitch him the rest of the weekend just because he hasn't seen back-to-back days or anything. And
No.
Tony mentioned that at the beginning of his rehab, but like when he was starting to make starts, he was like, I'm not even going to bring him up in the middle of an inning. Like it's got to be a fresh inning. So it's kind of just one of those situations where he's going to pitch one day of the week. It's just you get what you get out of him of how far he goes.
Well, he did bring him in. I mean, even though there were no outs, he did bring him in the inning tonight. Yeah. But, I mean, really, though, you go into tomorrow, you don't have Doyle, you don't have Phillips, you don't have Russell. You got everybody else. And you can go any route you want to go tomorrow. Do you want to go opener? Do you want to go somebody can get you 3-4 innings? You know, I don't know if they've gotten to the Vitello press conference yet. I'll be curious to see who starts tomorrow if they stick with Coons. Could they go Lloyd? Could they go Snead? I mean, I think there's a lot of things. The bottom line is, that third game, no matter when it's been recently, they've just come out dead. So hopefully they'll be the home team tomorrow for it. I mean, they earned it. I know there's been regionals where they've played 3 games and only been the home team once, but it is what it is. And, we'll see. But Tennessee set up good. You had to do what you had to do to get this one tonight. And I think you had to pitch or you had to. And I had no problem with them going to Russell tonight to get it. And to me, excellent job by this staff. And really the last 2 nights, because last night, too, I thought Miami of Ohio was on Doyle's fastball early. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time in a bit, that I've seen their pitch calls adjust. Doyle went heavy splitter, and that was a big difference last night because we've seen those games where whatever, we're throwing fastballs whether you hit them or not. They adjusted last night, and I thought the pitch calling was good again tonight as well. Pitching was good. What do you think about the offense? What have you thought about it through 2 games so far?
I mean, offense has been great. I mean, everything you've asked for. I mean, they've took all the pressure off the pitching staff so far, and that's exactly what we've been asking for a few weeks now. And they finally got that done for us. I mean, today they got it going first inning. I mean, we jump out to a 2-0 lead. Never really looked back after that. Took a few extra innings just to kind of grow that lead, but you eventually got there. And you got the game out to 8-2 game, and at that point, it kind of felt like the game was over. And Tennessee just kind of put on the cruise control and went the rest of the way. I mean, even in the top of the 9th inning, you got an extra 2 insurance runs from Manny Marin. That was huge. I mean, looking back on it, it would have been an 8-6 ball game, but it's actually a 10-6 ball game because of that. So the offense has done everything you've asked for them. Yesterday was, of course, great. I mean, you got their ace. The Miami of Ohio is their ace. He came out and he had great numbers on the season, and you pretty much lit him up and you got him out of the game pretty early. And they didn't really have that many bullpen arms after that. So it was kind of put on cruise control yesterday as well. So through 2 games, I mean, the offense has been everything you could have asked for. But you'll need that kind of performance again tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, man, the Manny Marin hit in the 9th was big because without that, you're going in 8-6. You get those runners on. All of a sudden, you're sweating bullets. You're kind of like right now. I've got West Virginia and Clemson on.
Yeah, I got
West Virginia's up 9-6, but the bases are loaded right now. I don't know who's coming up for Clemson, but if it's Cam Canarella, maybe I got that. I always mispronounce. If it's him, I wouldn't put it past him putting a grand slam on the board right here. But anywho, yeah, huge tonight. And that was one of the things when I talked to somebody today, we were talking about get out to a lead early and let Phillips get comfortable. That 2-0 lead, and man, it was close to being 4-0. And you got to give Cincinnati center fielder credit. Peebles didn't hit it solid, but it was a pretty good hit. And the guy just made a heck of a diving play on it. And Peebles actually had a cut. His first two at bats hit pretty good balls, and they made really good plays on him. And then he come back with, two doubles later on. I mean, the fact that dude right now is at 264 on the year, and just think he was at like 180 at some point. Just insane, man, what he's doing. He's been swinging a red-hot bat for a bit. Let me hit this right here. Super chat. Joseph Harris, what's up, man? Member of the channel. He says, Cannon has to catch the ball behind home plate. I have to go to work, but I love your show, man. Keep up the good work. Watch the game. Can't wait to watch tomorrow. Cannot say how much I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your generosity. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you for your membership here as well. It's greatly appreciated, and the appreciation does not go unnoticed. I can show you that as well. Thank you so much for that. Hope you have a good night at work. Be safe. Take care, and look forward to seeing you on here tomorrow. Hopefully celebrating another win tomorrow night. Let me get the comments here. We had old Bubbles. He was the first one in, said, let's close this one out. Yeah, we got Sneed and Loy tomorrow. Arvidsson could come back. Franklin's good. Coons is good. Krenzel's good. Am I forgetting anybody? That seems to be – I feel like with those six, if we can't get it done with those six, then it's just not meant to be. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically – I mean, the only other guys that you could really turn the ball to after that is who you saw yesterday, Binky and Breedlove, and that's kind of the other two guys. Because I think I don't think Michael Sharman is seeing the field unless it's a start, like on Monday or in Omaha for that matter. I think that's the only time you see Michael Sharman the rest of the year.
I'm not even convinced we would see him. I mean, if we had to, if they burned like a bunch of guys tomorrow and it did go to Monday. Yeah. But I think even if you still had most of your guys ready, we may not. I agree with you on that one. And Michael Sharman did a good job bouncing back, doing a good job on the midweek. But I feel that was his role, was to take care of the midweek. And I mean, how many years did Xander Sechrist hold down the midweek before he finally went to weekend? It's kind of the same thing on that. Of course, Xander was probably the most clutch pitcher we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
That I can remember. I mean, his starts last year at the end of the year, every one of them were intense and had big implications, and he nailed every one of them. So maybe Michael Sharman builds to that next year or whenever it is. I'm not sure how many. I think he has at least 2 years left coming from JUCO. But Clemson's done. West Virginia beat them. How about that? So let's see. Casey Ledbetter said, let's go. We're advancing to the regional final. That's a big thing, man. You put these teams, and I just don't feel Cincinnati or Wake Forest has the pitching depth we do. And I know Wake Forest has got their bullshit pitching lab that they go on about. But, let's face it, man, those Wake Forest pitchers don't face SEC batters all the time either. And I'll go to bat on that one all day long against Wake Forest. And, I know they had said yesterday their coach was going to throw Matthew Dallas against Tennessee. Tennessee would light him up. Nothing against him. A lot of potential. Tennessee would light Matthew Dallas the new one. I have no doubt about it. Nothing against him. But let's see here. No, if we make the supers and make it no further, it's not a bad year.
No.
It's just
definitely not.
It's tough to make it. What would this be? 3 straight College World Series?
Yep.
Not many teams do that.
And you got to think, there hasn't been a team make the super regionals the year after winning a national championship since before COVID. So it's
Yeah,
just it's not very rare. At this point last year, LSU was fighting for their life in the North Carolina regional. So
got put out by North
yeah, they
Carolina.
got put out. So at this point, Tennessee's in the best spot that any reigning national champion has been in pretty much over the last 6 years.
Yeah, because you've got, like you said, COVID year 2020 didn't happen. 2021. I don't even remember who won it in 2019. That's kind of a wash
I
repeating
think it
since
was
that 2
Vandy.
years later. But since that, though, what is it? The defending champion has not even hosted a regional the
Yep.
next year. Tennessee's the first one to do that in a few years. And, I know it's been rough this year, but I mean, rough by our standards. There's other teams would kill for the season that Tennessee's had.
Oh yeah,
this year. But yeah, if Tennessee gets to the Supers, got to finish the job tomorrow. I want them to finish the job tomorrow. Put your foot on their throats and end it. Don't let them breathe tomorrow. I don't care who it is. Give me Wake Forest. Then that freaking pitching lab. Let's bring that pitching lab on and see what it's made of tomorrow. Let's bring them on, send them to the house, whatever it is. But you do that, probably go face You're probably going to Arkansas next weekend. I've not seen a score in Arkansas and Creighton
7-0
now, but
Arkansas.
what is it?
7-0 Arkansas. And I think it's the 5th inning.
You're probably going to Arkansas next weekend if you win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'd be great to go down there and beat them, but it sucked to have to listen to their mouths. It's still not a bad season. It's still a good season because we saw that 2022 team that was the best in the country get put out in the Supers. It's not easy to get to Omaha there as well. Bubble says, like the video, people. Absolutely. Hit that thumbs up. Share it out. If you know anybody that hadn't found the channel, share that out for us. We got 206 tonight. It's a little more like it tonight. Maybe it's because Kerry's on here and he's got the bigger following than me and brings it in. But still yet, maybe it's because we finally didn't have a night rain delay for once either. But still, I'll give Kerry more of the credit on this one. But still, this is the kind of audiences we want right here. Aaron Height said, got it done. That's right. Cincinnati did try to make a comeback. They didn't go down easily as well. Yep, there you go, Kevin Collins. LFG, go boys. Regional final tomorrow. We do have to be beat twice. No doubt about that. 10-7 Vols. Douglas Graham, member of the channel, says go Big Orange. I want Wake Forest too. I'm not going to lie. We beat Cincinnati.
Yep.
Bring on Wake Forest. Let's see something different. Let's beat them all. Here. What about that pickoff, man?
That was great. That was a beautiful
awesome.
move.
The cool thing, too, was once Fisher applied that tag, he turned around and knew it. He was pumping his fist. That dude was fired up tonight. He's for him to have played here 1 year, man, he's a pretty favorable ball at this point, would you not say?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, and it's mainly because of Ole Miss they burned that bridge. Like the fan base hates him and Doyle with everything they got now. So it's kind of Andrew Fisher and Liam Doyle at this point. They're graduating. They're going to be remembered for what they've done here at Tennessee, and it's not going to be any other program.
Yeah, they've both been just huge pickups. I mean, no doubt.
Here today.
Where would this team be without them?
I don't. In Texas A&M shoes, watching from home.
Are you surprised they're keeping their coach?
For Texas A&M, for their standards, no. I would have fired him. I'd have fired him middle of the season the way that they were playing. But if they like him and they think he's a good coach, I guess it's okay that they gave him another year. But I don't really see like them being a competitor again this year, like this upcoming season. I don't think they'll be a title contender out of nowhere. So you kind of set the precedent now that you're going to have to give them a few more years.
Hopefully, who is it? Is it? Oh gosh, is it LaViolette Is that how you pronounce it?
Laviolette.
Laviolette. I knew I was mispronouncing that. There's rumors he might hit the portal, if that's who I'm thinking of. It.
Well, he's going pro.
Or is it Grahovic?
It would be Grahovic.
It's one of them that there's rumors they may hit the portal. So hopefully Vitello's ready to pounce. Hopefully he's ready to pounce. Let's see. Yeah, I was honestly kind of waiting for A&M to get rid of their coach and make a play for Vitello again. And I'd seen some of their fan sites making a case for that, but I don't know. I don't think Vitello would go, but you never know on that one as well. I mean, money can talk. Money can do crazy things.
Yep.
Sometimes, but I guess once we get this Adidas money coming in, though, it'll be all for nothing. So let's see. Yeah, Phillips was on point tonight. That pickoff was the stuff, man. No doubt about it. Big win for sure. Yeah, man, Antigua, he's I'm an Ariel Antigua guy. Everybody that listens know this, but man, he has had a little more errors than usual. Trying to do too much. I think it's his fielding. I've still put his fielding over. It seems to be the throws that gets him more than anything because he sells the throw. But Antigua's still a badass at shortstop. I don't care. I mean, who do you want in at the end? Let's be honest, Antigua or Curley?
I mean, obvious choice.
So, and I'm not hating on Curley. I like Dean Curley. I'm not one of these that wanted to bench him. We've seen some pretty awful stuff said on him, and that's a pretty dang good ball player that people take for granted on it. And I think part of it was, other than Inslee, who would you have considered the face of the team coming into this year based off last year?
What was the question again? I was reading the chat.
Based off of coming into this year, we know Inslee coming back is kind of the captain. But who would you consider, besides him, the face of Tennessee baseball this year?
Either Andrew Fisher or Liam Doyle.
You wouldn't have said Curley?
No.
Really?
No. Him
returning shortstop from last year?
I mean, you could make that case, but I was if I had to choose, I would go Liam Doyle because I thought I knew I saw the way he pitched last year, and I knew he'd take the step this year, so I thought for sure that he'd be the guy. He'd be the face of the program, which he absolutely has been this season.
I'm not going to lie. I had to see it because his ERA was over 6 at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that, though.
And I know he looked pretty good against Tennessee, but I'm trying to find which game.
I got Georgia Tech and Murray State
East Carolina. I can put that on the background. That's two teams I always like to watch, but Curley, I think, probably got built up to have, I don't know if I'd say a Christian Moore-esque type season, but a big jump. He still had a good season at the plate, the field, but just hearing Vitello this past week talk about him, and to me, Andrew Fisher, did you catch the interview where he talked about Curley? I think it was with the IOTB producer. I'm not even sure their channel, but I've run across them on Twitter. Man, he spoke really highly of Curley. He said, whenever our last game is, I want him right by my side. He said the dude shows up for early work. He puts in the work. He's here. He's a leader. I'm with it, man. Let's go with him. Yeah, Curley coming through big. I was so happy for him tonight when he come through in that first inning with that 2-run RBI. That was big for him.
Murray State 13-11 over Georgia Tech in the bottom of the 8th inning right now.
Good grief. Was Murray State one of them that had a losing record? I
do not think so. I don't think so.
There was a couple teams, because when I was doing the selection, live selection show, I was like, this is a joke. And that these teams are even getting in.
Yeah.
I got to find the record here. No, I don't want to apply to Murray State. I pulled up the freaking university website. Never mind. I'm not applying to Murray State here.
They are 40-13, so absolutely not.
Okay. All right. So they're legit.
Yeah.
They are legit in. All right. Cool. I mean, even if they had a losing record, good for them. But I've gone on multiple tangents on that about the teams with losing records. Yeah, I mean, like that would have sucked that ETSU wins Southern Conference. If they would have lost the tournament, they probably don't get in. Of course,
Yeah.
They got put out today, but still, yeah, it was. Let's see here. Yeah, Douglas Graham, member of the channel, says Phillips came out big tonight. I think we'll see Coons tomorrow. I'm curious to see if he starts or not, though. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. But if you run across it, I know you're following along right now. If they start putting the quotes up and you said who Vitello says goes tomorrow, stop me here, please. Trying to see. Yeah, Arvidsson had what? What did he throw to one batter? Was that it?
Yeah, it was just the last out of the game.
Yeah, he's good for tomorrow. How about Levi Clark, man, at the plate? He was 1 for 3, but like that one at bat, dude, he battled and battled and drew the walk. That was big time, man. That was big time tonight. Yeah, let's see. Why are we not? I know Major League Baseball games a lot will show the strike zone. ESPN, are they behind the? Does the ESPN not show the strike zone on Major League on Sunday Night Baseball?
As far as I know, they do. I mean, I haven't watched Sunday Night Baseball in a while since I worked most Sunday nights, but they have. I mean, I do remember that in the past. I know they don't with college baseball just because there'll be so much backlash with it towards the umpires, because that would require a lot of accountability to college baseball umpires, because the zone is what the zone is. It's not. There is no common zone in college baseball. Every ump is totally different, which is pretty much the opposite of the MLB. I mean, most MLB umps, it's going to be pretty close. I mean, you're going to have guys with certain tendencies, but you're not going to have a guy that's calling a strike at the knees one inning, and then the next inning, 2 inches below the knees, he's calling, or a strike or a ball at the knees, he calls a ball, and then the next inning, 3 inches lower than the knees, he's calling it a strike, which we saw tonight. I don't think that's something that they want getting out there. I don't think that they want those screenshots going on Twitter and stuff, man. So I just don't really see that happening. They have the money, though.
The biggest problem with officiating is too many of these outlets take up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it with, the SEC football, for example. The coaches can't officiate it, or excuse me, they can't criticize it, or they get a big fine for it. Why can we not speak up for this stuff, man? This is, the best conference in college. Now we're in the NCAA tournament. Why could we not get this fixed? I mean, I don't know when you were growing up, the strike zone when I was growing up was basically NIDA letters on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember even when I was playing, because I called a lot, and I'd have umpires tell me I don't believe in corners. And guys I caught were dead on the corners, and they wouldn't call them. And I may or may not have about gotten tossed out of a game or two because of complaining when it's right on the corner and it's going right where I'm setting up at. I mean, it's just, there needs to be a universal strike zone. And, if we got to go to bots to do it, then we got to do it. The human element can't do it any more than maybe the robots needs to at this point. And don't know how people feel about that one. I don't know how I feel about it ultimately, but I'm tired of seeing these garbage strike zones along the way. This was pretty cool when that pickoff happened. That crowd went nuts because that crowd knows it. It's been a struggle at times this year. I'm pretty amazed by the last 3 weeks how much Phillips has gotten better with the run game.
Yep, it's been amazing.
That shows me that's a guy that's not content with it.
Yeah, and then the Cincinnati coach, I mean, he said, I saw a tweet a second ago, it said that he was quicker to the plate tonight So it's just one of those things. They hadn't seen that on film. And it was different. I mean, whenever the runners got on base, the knee did not go as high. I noticed that whenever he's warming up in the first inning, I was like, the knee is not going up as high as it normally is. The first pitch to the first batter, I mean, it was what it normally is, but he wasn't in the windup for that, or he was in the windup, wasn't in the stretch. Then they got a runner on base, and it was the very small knee raise and then to home plate. So it was a little bit different, much quicker to home plate. That's why there was only the one stolen base off him. One stolen base to one pickoff. I mean, that evens it out, and that's the total opposite of what we saw this season from him.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a more methodical approach most of the year, and now it's more, like I said, it's a lot quicker. It's like we're fluid. We're getting to the point here. Did you happen to catching that Miami Wake Forest game? I turned it off and was watching ETSU, and then I saw it.
I watched
14-13.
I watched bits and pieces of it. I would kept on coming in because I would see the Miami, Ohio would have people on base in like the last 5 innings, and they blew it almost every single time. Or if they did, they only got like 1 or 2 runs. So I think they left 16 runners on base today. So Miami, Ohio, and Wake Forest left like 14 runners on base. I mean, it was a high-scoring game. It was just it could have been in the 20s though. So is this one of those games? It was crazy. I mean, it was a great game. Miami, Ohio had a great chance to win it there at the end. They just didn't get the job done.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That they had the time run on third, maybe. So
time run on third.
They scored 4 runs in the last inning. That was, I mean, Wake Forest was up, I think, 6 runs when I turned it off. Started watching ETSU Wright State, but I hadn't renewed my ESPN Plus at that point, and once I renewed it, I turned it off. But Ryan Davis for 2 says, "Good God, that last inning was nerve-wracking." It in Tennessee fashion, it did not just go smoothly in the end. There's no doubt about that one. Yeah, man, Cannon P. I know this is in regard to Cannon Peebles. He was around 170, and the fact that he's up in the 260s now, he hats off to him, man, for just the changes, and hats off to him for bringing back the Drew Gilbert's celebration this weekend. That's the best, still the best one. And I've seen people over the years, all these old blowhards and stuff, go on about that's not baseball. Let me tell you, the kids like it. I remember when I was coaching at Dutch Fork. In one game, a kid of ours got a double, and all of a sudden I looked over and he busts out the Drew Gilbert celebration. It's like, yeah, these kids love it, man. And that's what it's about now. It's not about these blowhards that are set in their ways and stuff like that. And I say it as somebody who's been around baseball for a long time. I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know it all. I'll never know it all because the game's continuing to evolve. But some of these old guys that just, that's disrespectful to the game. Get over that, man. It's, I mean, they used to. Look at some of the old videos and stuff. I mean, y'all want your managers to smoke in the dugout again? Do you want your right fielder to come in, fire up a smoke in the dugout, and then go hit? I mean, if you really want to get in what the game used to be, let's look at all aspects, which were pretty awesome, honestly. But Kevin Collins says, "Cheers, boys. Been drinking since the first pitch." So rock on, brother. I'll be shocked if we don't see Arkansas. It looks like they're going to roll through that regional.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something you got to keep in mind. The biggest thing's defense. Gotta clean the throws up. We got to clean up. We had 2 errors tonight. I know Antigua was one of them. What was the other one?
There was the Antigua error. There was the Fisher error. And no, pass ball isn't really an error. There was the Fisher error where Peebles threw it down to Fisher and it bounced off his glove.
That's it. Yep. So, I mean, those are, in a tighter game, that could hurt you.
Yeah. And I mean, Cincinnati.
Up, good to see you in here. What's that?
Cincinnati, I mean, they played as good a defense as you could ask for. Like,
They
I
made
mean,
some big
they put
time
on a show.
plays.
They made some great plays out there. And there
They
was a lot of
did.
plays that weren't really talked about from the broadcast crew that were some really good plays and really impressive plays that could have definitely changed the way the game went. It could have been a much bigger blowout in Tennessee's favor. So Cincinnati kept themselves in that game because of the way they played defense, in my opinion.
I thought our infield, for the most part, played pretty good, and I thought
They
Keelan
did.
did a good job at
Yeah.
shortstop. There was one of the innings when Marin kind of cut him off and made the play to end it. I thought our infield, for the most part, did a pretty good job tonight. Didn't have a problem with our defense. You know, we had a couple, even the one Antigua made, he got ahead of himself on it. I think he rushed it a little bit. He'd probably like to have that one back. All of Antigua's errors, I feel like, are just trying to do maybe a little too much. Easy for me to say sitting here watching on it. Like I said, if you give me a college shortstop, you give me my choice as far as building, I'm still putting Ariel Antigua out there, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yep.
No doubt about it. I mean, I do feel like Peebles maybe he's not the best blocker. He's a pretty good catcher, man. He made a couple plays.
Yeah.
Was the one steal tonight off of Phillips? That ended up being pretty close.
Yep. Dean Curley catches
I don't
it.
fault him a lot for the steals this year. He's a pretty good catcher. Now, he doesn't have that Cal Stark first base pickoff that Cal Stark perfected, but he did throw one down tonight. I know, but he's a pretty good catcher, man, and he's hot right now too.
Yep. He's been taking the majority of the workload too for the majority of the season at this point. But Stone Lawless is out of the picture at this point. He's not seeing the field unless you absolutely have to have him see the field, like a pinch runner in extra innings and people has to come out kind of situation. But Peebles has been working his rear end off, and he's been getting beat up back there. There was a few weeks there that it was pass ball after pass ball, and a lot of it wasn't his fault. It was the wild pitches from the pitchers. So, I mean, his knees got to be worn out, and he's still a guy. He's going to hit a grounder in the infield. He's still going to hustle down the first base. So you got to do everything you can just to say thank you to him because, I mean, he's been great for us this season. I mean, especially considering the fact that he's got the bat going right now too.
Well, I mean, it's like the last pitch from Arvidsson. It bounced in.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a pretty dang good job of blocking it and getting it down. I have no complaints with his catching job. I think he's done a great job. And the fact that the biggest thing with him is he's hitting.
Yep.
And, I don't know what the average has been over the last, say, month and a half. For it to go from 170s, 180s to 260s.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. Are we worried about losing Tony V? Nope.
Never in a million years.
Not at this point. Not after Texas and LSU had openings on it. And I was really pissed during that time that some ball riders was like, well, you couldn't blame him if he went to those. Those are the two of the most traditional historical programs. I don't care, man. History is the past.
Yeah.
There's not a program that's better currently than Tennessee. I'm not saying Tennessee wins it all this year by any means, but the improvements they're making to the stadium, who would have thought that stadium would have ever even needed those improvements? That doesn't happen without Tony Vitelli. And, we can say some of your tweets tonight, you were on it with the reaction where he hit his hand against that
was funny.
Padding. That was great. I love it.
I
love a dude with some fire in him.
There was one I didn't post because people wouldn't have made sense to people. But well, first off, Murray State just beat Georgia Tech. But I think it was either the 8th or 9th inning when both coaches were kind of getting after it at the umpire. They shot to Tony. Tony was saying something. They shoot to the Cincinnati coach. Cincinnati's coach saying something. They shoot back to Tony. Tony looks at the guy next to him. He's like, "What's he barking about over there?" And so I thought that was because you could read his lips. He's like, "What's he talking about over there?" Like he had no case to say anything. So that was one of the funny moments too. I mean, Tony Vitello kind of showed his personality tonight in multiple different points of the game.
Yeah, I mean, even the Auburn series when he come out and got tossed, and people are like, "Oh, it's him shut." No, there was a reason he did it.
Oh yeah,
He knew what he was doing when he walked out there. It was an aggravating series, and that was the culmination of a lot of aggravation. He knew exactly what he was doing because you were probably the same as I was. As soon as I saw him walk out, I'm like, he's getting tossed. And what am I? Even though I don't think he's the greatest. I thought he was one of the most overrated managers, but I loved him, was Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox coming out of that dugout, he was getting tossed. That's why he's the all-time leader in it. And sometimes you got to make a point here. This is something like there's some pretty good comments here. I'm still getting my way through them. I don't even know what time it is. Oh shit, I'm about 20 minutes behind on comments. I'll get caught up here in a minute. But you win a World Series here unless you get a job opportunity to coach the Braves, which is that's something you don't see in baseball with guys going from college to the MLB. It's very – I don't even remember a time of it happening. I'm not saying assistants don't. Assistants do go between the two, but as far as head coach guys, I know there was a joke out there at some point. I don't remember if it wasn't an April Fool's joke. It was something where people put out there Tony Vitello was going to coach the Braves. It's something that doesn't happen. This is a good question here. Would it be safe to say Fisher was a bigger transfer than Billy Amick? I don't think it's that cut and dry, but I think based on – feel free to disagree with me on this. I think based on importance to the team, yes. Because Fisher is probably your guy this year.
He is.
Amick, he was very important. I mean, but you still had Christian Moore, Blake Burke, Kavaris Tears, Dylan Drawling, all these guys. Fisher this year, I mean, he's been pretty big for him. You agree or disagree that he is? Say he is bigger?
I absolutely agree that Fisher's a bigger impact. No hating towards Billy Amick. I mean, you don't win the national championship last year without him. It's just this team is nowhere even close to being in this situation they are right now if it wasn't for Fisher. And we can't say that same thing for last year's team. I think if you don't have Amick, you're still going to be 2-0 in the regional play at this point. You may not be the number 1 overall seed. You may be like the number 2 or 3, but if we don't have Fisher this season, you're hurting, and you're hurting big time. Because he was, in my opinion, the SEC Player of the Year. And also,
I mean, without him and Doyle, it's like, where is this team? They were just game changers for this team. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Jeremy.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Louisville 3, Vanderbilt 1.
I wouldn't count Vanderbilt out after yesterday, though.
No, that was Wright State's coach. Like he blew that himself.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said about why he pulled the dude, but I guess that was the plan. I don't know, but did he have a perfect game or just a no-hitter? Wasn't it a perfect game?
No, it was just a no-hitter.
Okay.
I think he was, if I remember correctly, because I did watch like first inning or two, I think he was perfect through 3. Don't quote me on that, but he was the scoreboard or the box score was looking really good through 3 innings. I know that for sure. They didn't really have a base runner like at all.
Trying to get Shirley Vitello's being interviewed. I wish there was a way to get the post-game interviews, and I can't figure it out.
I haven't seen somebody say who's starting tomorrow. And also, Arkansas's up 10-0 on Creighton in the 7th inning, but Arkansas is throwing their ace. So there is a chance. Creighton does have the capability tomorrow of winning 2 games and forcing a Monday game. So
Root's throwing tonight?
Yeah, so I wouldn't count out Creighton just yet because they do have the offensive capability to do that.
Yeah, Arkansas buzzed through them because what Kansas got put out tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So
Kansas just stunk. Like they were just downright bad.
I saw so much about Kansas and TCU. Watch out for them. They should be hosting. They could go with anybody, and both of them got waxed in 2 games. Of course, TCU got put out by Oregon State, but still, yet, man, it's Big 12 baseball ain't there. It ain't there. It's don't give me Big 12 versus SEC or even ACC on it. Big 12's I'm not putting it. It's a decent conference, but yeah, there's a reason the Big 12's not getting all the ones. People like to complain about the SEC getting all these 1 seeds. It's because it's a freaking dog eat dog conference. I mean, it's the best of the best. If you put these top ACC teams in it, none of them would win it.
Nope.
North Carolina's a hell of a team. North Carolina's not winning the SEC. They're not beating Texas. They're not beating Arkansas. They're not beating LSU. They're probably not beating Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia. Of course, Georgia got beat by Duke tonight, if I'm not mistaken, or they were.
Oh, they got beat
5-2.
Oh, if you were a Georgia fan tonight, you were ripping your hair out because you had opportunities. In what I watched, the 6th and the 7th and the 8th inning, I tuned in to each of those innings just to watch Georgia choke. They had 2 runners on base, and I think every single one of those innings, and they didn't do anything with it. So it was a bullpen masterclass from Duke tonight.
Good. I had no problem. I'm not an SEC guy. I was tickled to see Florida get romped yesterday.
Yep.
I don't know. This East Carolina Coastal's a pretty dang good game going on right now. Coastal just tied it a minute ago. Actually, I hope whoever loses this puts Florida out. Didn't disappoint me to see Bama get put out today.
Nope.
None of them. Send them all to the house. I have no problem with it.
What do you
I
think
know
about
we're going to see
Oregon?
Arkansas. LSU's going to roll. Probably Texas, but
What do you think about Oregon? They're already done.
done, man.
Yeah, I had them in
Absolutely
Omaha
done.
too. I thought they were good enough to make it to Omaha. I mean, I picked them to go to Omaha, and by golly, if they didn't go 0-2 and lost to Utah Valley.
Yeah, I never even heard of Utah Valley.
I didn't. I had never heard of it until I tuned on the game last night. And
That's
by golly,
the beauty
if
of college baseball. These teams show up you've never heard of.
Did you watch Did you
been
watch
a
it?
bit now, but like a Dallas Baptist.
Yeah.
You don't hear them in anything else. They're a pretty dang good college baseball team. I mean, Utah Valley, there was I don't know. We played every direction on the compass of Georgia this year, I think, in baseball. We played west, south, north, all of not really, but I think we played southwest, northwest Georgia. All these teams pop up. It's like, where did these come from? But that's what I love about college baseball. But something is pretty interesting, too. Somebody had put out a list. I don't remember where I saw it at, of the amount of D1 programs that don't have baseball. And it's like Syracuse, Colorado. There's teams that you know of from other sports that still don't have baseball. I don't know if that's part of Title IX or baseball doesn't make a lot of money. We know that, but see what
some places may not even have the room for it unless you put it on the football field.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Furman had it at one point, which I lived close to Furman for a bit, and then they did away with it. And that, anybody that's ever been at Furman campus it's very, very nice. And so I don't know if they were a case of Title IX or what it was with them, but Furman, I mean, why am I forgetting? What was Elizabethton coach? Presnell. That's where he played ball at for years. So or when he went to college. So I mean, Furman did some pretty good stuff. I don't see Vitello going to Arkansas. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
that's a step down in programs.
I'll let you deal with that one.
Well, I mean, we have one national championship and they have 0.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, this is their 36th year of making the NCAA tournament, and they have 0 trophies to show for it. I don't care how many times you've been. If you ain't got a trophy to show for it, you're not better than us. That's just
Yeah, you're
not how
right.
it goes. I mean, Tony already has one at Tennessee. Why would he go to a program and doesn't have anything? I mean, they have the history of making the NCAA tournament. They ain't got the history of winning it. They do have a history of letting the fly ball drop in
Choking in
between the
it.
triangle. Yeah.
I mean, what more if you're Tony Vitello would you want from Tennessee? You're getting back with a stadium.
Nothing.
I'm pretty sure now that everybody's on scholarship on the team, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
I think I heard that all could be wrong on it because I can't keep up with this scholarship stuff, but I can assure you Tennessee's probably getting more in baseball than most schools when it comes to NIL on it because there's some schools giving it all to football. I know there's people saying we should give it all to football and sacrifice others. I don't know, man. I like being pretty
Yeah.
good
Yeah, I
year
would do
round
that.
on it. That's just my opinion on it, but I enjoy every sport we're actually relevant. And I mean, you look at it, football made the playoffs, and I still get people complaining about Heupel and stuff. It's his 4th year, and he's already in the playoffs after taking over an absolute disaster.
Yep.
Barnes has gotten to 2 straight Elite Eights. I don't know we've ever been to 2 straight Elite Eights, yet people still want Barnes gone. Vitello just won a national championship. Caldwell got to the Sweet 16. Weekly is back in the College World Series again. Yeah, I know that game 2 days ago was rough, but I'm in the minority. I'm taking Carlin Pickens versus Parker any time, any place on it. Sometimes you got to tip your cap.
Yep.
On it. And people wanted to fire Weekly over. It was just a pitch that I bet Pickens would like to have back. But when you've got the best, I'm rolling with the best all day long with it. Who you starting tomorrow? Some of the comments I'm catching up. Who would you roll with tomorrow based on who we know is available?
I mean, I don't see why they would go anything different than Coons right now. Tony hasn't shown even in over the past years, he hasn't really weighed off stream when it comes to those kind of decisions. So he's stuck with Coons the past few weeks. So I would assume that he runs out Coons again tomorrow. Because I don't really Sharman, you could. Arvidsson, you could, but that's kind of a weird spot. Lloyd would be the only really guy that I would consider running out there to start. But he hasn't looked the greatest the past few weeks. So I'd just roll out Coons because that's what you've done. And if you haven't shown that you're going to change from that so far, I don't think you do that at this point, considering it is a big game. As if you do lose tomorrow, it's anybody can win the game on Monday.
Maybe for him too, he had a couple pretty good weeks against Auburn and Vanderbilt, and then you saw who was it, Arkansas, and then he saw Vandy again, who's seen him.
Yeah.
That Vandy team, they were on it last week.
Oh yeah.
And when you're hitting BP ball, and BP coaches want those balls up the middle. They don't want you. If you're dialed in, you're hitting up the middle on it. Vandy was dialed in last week. I don't think it would have mattered who would have pitched on them. Coons started out good against Arkansas, and then there was the pick, which was when I first saw it, I thought it was legit. The more I watched it, it looked like a pretty dang good move to me. And even Arkansas coach said he pulled a different move on us than we were used to on it. And the umpire said the knee moved quick. No, that was a pretty dang good move.
Yeah.
On it. And then you had an error after that. Somebody.
Grand Salami.
Coastal?
Yep. Coastal Carolina Grand Salami.
Whoa. What a game, man. But, yeah, I mean, you've got everybody available. Roll with him tomorrow. Let him roll. He's going to pitch at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Let's roll. The only way, I guess, if I didn't start him, I'd go Snead. I wouldn't go Lloyd, I don't think, but I want Lloyd available. I wouldn't go Franklin. To me, it's either Coons or Sneed, and based on, like you said, we've gone the last few weeks gone with Coons. Let's roll with him.
I think the thing is with that though is if you do start, like if they did roll out Sneed and you start Sneed and he throws a lot of pitches, heaven forbid you have to play Monday, he's gone.
Yeah,
And that's your best bullpen arm. Then you're kind of in a hole there, and it's going to be hard to come out of. I do like,
yeah,
I like Sneed coming in late in the games because he is the best bullpen arm you got right now. So I kind of like sticking with that. And I think it's one of the things is no matter really how the game goes tomorrow, if they do win tomorrow, which I of course think they will, you're going to need to see a few guys go out there. Franklin's going to need to pitch. Lloyd's going to need to pitch. And maybe another guy or two that I'm just totally forgetting about right now. Because the last thing you want to do is go down to Arkansas and them not have pitch in a week or two. That's
yeah.
just not setting things up good. Especially considering the fact of if you do get to Sunday at Arkansas, you're going to need everybody that you can because it's the season at that point and it's bragging rights at that point. So, and you definitely don't want to bring in a guy that hasn't pitched in 2 weeks in an actual game. So it's just one of those things of Coons will go tomorrow. He'll be on a short lease, I feel like, and it'll be all hands on deck after that. You may see like 5 dudes pitch tomorrow. And if we do just play tomorrow, not just Monday, but if we play tomorrow, you may see like 5, 6 guys run out there for Tennessee, and that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever.
Go with the opener philosophy they went with last year. I mean, with Stamos to Cosby. I mean, say you start Coons, and then let's say if he is struggling, then switch it. I mean, I thought I had a problem earlier on with them not letting him go further, especially at Vanderbilt game in the regular season where he's 3 2/3 in, he's rolling. They just pulled him at 47 pitches, 48, whatever it was. I thought that was ridiculous, but at this point, we've got all we don't have available tomorrow is Doyle, Phillips, and Russell. Everyone else is available.
And I think,
like I said, if we got to go 5 or 6 pitchers, keep them fresh, keep them rolling in, kind of like a Rodney Garner defensive line. You keep rotating them in tomorrow. If that's what it takes to change it up, do it. Get out there and get that win. And like you said, next weekend you go to Arkansas, everybody's pitched, and everybody's good to go next weekend.
Yeah, I would bet that the game plan tomorrow is Coons, then Krenzel. That would be my assumption. You get your 3 innings out of Coons, then you hand it to Krenzel to get 2, possibly 3 innings. Then it's Loy or Arvidsson kind of in that spot. And then it's handing it over to Snead for the rest of the game. I feel like that would be the perfect lay it out way of how we're going to do things. Of course, you would like Coons to get 4 to 5 innings, but that just isn't something we've seen so far. And considering Vitello's leash was so small in the regular season, in the postseason, I feel like if you get in the 4th inning and you let him go out there back in the 4th and he walks the first batter, he's going to pull him. That's just kind of what we've seen so far with Coons. But I would think that you would go Coons and then Krenzel and then the rest of the way after that. But if you don't use Krenzel tomorrow, you could also use him on Monday if you have to. He could start Monday because he started some midweek games. So I could see that being who you roll out on Monday if you have to.
Well, you got to factor in Franklin, too. We've not seen Franklin. And
yeah.
He's going to factor. I mean, you could go. I mean, even Arvidsson, he's good to go tomorrow. So, I mean, you've got both of your main left-handed guys good for tomorrow. Plus, you got Coons, you got Krenzel, you got Snead, you got Franklin. We're good for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're perfect
as long
tomorrow.
As we don't just have that. I think as long as we're not grooving fastballs and we're not having a defensive showcase. But based on somebody I was talking to today, we were talking about Tennessee and Wake Forest played. Wake has the lowest fielding percentage in the ACC. This could be T-ball-esque type stuff tomorrow if Tennessee and Wake Forest play. Like, you might see guys playing in the dirt. You might see guys playing in the anthills. You might see them. Who knows what you're doing in it with defense. It could be interesting. I know Wake made some errors today as well. But, I mean, that's where I would go with it. Definitely changing to the house Vitello built on it. I don't think AA's transferring, man. He might, but I don't I don't think it's given. I just don't, because I mean, next year you got to think you're going to lose most of your lineup, and I don't think he's going anywhere on that. Could be wrong. I mean, in this day and age, you never know, but with where they're at, we got to see who comes in, who gets drafted, who doesn't. I mean, I think that shortstop job is AA's for the taking. I really do. Let me see where we're at. Douglas Graham says they've got a second cousin pitches for UTSA. I hadn't seen the score. It was 2-1 with them in Texas. So
6-1.
that's pretty
now.
cool, man. Yeah, this has been fun tonight, man. I appreciate Kerry coming on. He brings a lot more followers than I got. But still, it's more fun to talk baseball than just me sitting here rambling for a while. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would save Snead.
No.
I would say this. I'm not necessarily going to use the word save. I would have him ready for Monday if needed, though. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If we go to game 2, the opposing team's pit, yeah, man, Cincinnati, especially I think Cincinnati. I expect Wake Forest to beat Cincinnati tomorrow. Could be wrong.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Could be wrong. I know I would assume Dallas is going for Wake Forest, but they could, out of that esteemed pitching lab, they may have another guy they can throw out there tomorrow. But what's up, Papa J? Good seeing your bats need to keep going. That's the biggest thing, I think, last 2 weeks. I mean, against Alabama, against Texas, we hit. Defense, I mean, the Vanderbilt game was an absolute debacle. But, I mean, other than that, it's I've been very encouraged. I think this team's getting into postseason mode right now. Now, if you finish off tomorrow, and I expect Arkansas will finish off tomorrow, it's going to get real next weekend. But you know what, man? Come next weekend, I'm going to be expecting we're going to send them to the house. Just the bottom line on that. Well, you know what? Wake Forest can have all the first-round relievers they want stashed away. We hear that I've seen all these Wake Forest first-rounders because the Braves have drafted at least 2 of them. And you know how many of them we've seen get to the show? Not a damn one of them. That's as overrated of a pitching lab as there is along the way. And maybe they've made it after the Braves have traded them. But it's easy. Again, I respect the ACC. It's a great conference. But, I mean, it's kind of like going from the outhouse to the penthouse when you go from the ACC to the SEC. Just put it that way. And maybe I ain't my words, but I want Tennessee to get Wake Forest, and I want them to show what this pitching lab is all about, because that's been a big beef. And I know there's times we talk about Frank Anderson. I'll take the Frank Anderson lab any day of the week over the Wake Forest pitching lab with it. We've hit an hour. We've got a real good audience. Hopefully everybody will stick with us along the way. I know Kerry's in and out based on his work schedule. He's got a lot going on. Freshly master's degree in hand, ready to roll. Hopefully once he gets settled, we can get him on to do more stuff on here, because he does awesome work here as well. But, hopefully you guys will stick with us along the way, because I can assure you I'm going to self-promote the channel when it comes to baseball. I'll put us up against anybody on baseball. That's just it. All right? It's not being cocky. It's not being bragging or anybody. That's just confidence in the time we invest in it, the time we go with it as well. We're not always right, but I think we know the product pretty well. And we take a lot of pride in it. And I can assure you, based on this dude, he's tweeting all game long. our love for Tennessee baseball I don't think it can be replicated. It's awesome. It's probably my favorite to follow.
Yeah, I love it.
And I love Tennessee football, basketball. But man, if I really had to choose one, would you choose either of the other two over baseball?
Probably not. I mean, I love everything about baseball. Just awesome,
Yeah.
especially college baseball. I mean, I went to a Tennessee baseball game before I ever went to Neyland, so it's just kind of the way I was raised.
I have still never to this point been to Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
We're gonna have to change that.
I know, man. It's like I thought this year it was going to happen, and then it didn't. But I've seen them play back when they used to do home and home with ETSU. I used to go up every year when they would play there. I've gone to 4 games in Columbia when they played South Carolina. I've got to get down to Lindsey now. So I'm 2 hours and 8 minutes according to Google Maps, because I looked at it today and contemplated at about 12 o'clock making that drive, but I didn't do it. At some point, I'm just going to do it. But yeah, Tennessee baseball rules, man. It's fun. That's why I like the everything school. I like football. I can't wait for football. I mean, everybody grew up John Ward. You probably were Bob Kessling, though, right?
Yeah, I was the rough days of Tennessee football.
Yeah. So you come in the Kessling era. Now we got Mike Keith. That's going to be fun here. Something I discovered this year. How did I never know there was a Tennessee Athletics app? And I was
have no idea how you didn't know that.
I know. And so, like, some of these Sundays I've been traveling back and forth between Asheville and South Carolina. I'll just put John Wilkerson on and listen. But I found the dynamic odd. It'll be Ferrara for a couple innings, and then it's Wilkerson for a couple. But still pretty fun. But, yeah, Tennessee baseball rules. Bottom line, we got to finish tomorrow, though. Got to finish tomorrow. Got to be encouraged, though. And I think it's do what you got to do tomorrow. We got a lot of pitching available. And, oh, wow, Greg actually played on Lindsey Nelson 20 and 21 years ago. Pretty cool, man. That is pretty awesome right there. I know they still do some stuff there. I guess that would have been a grass field then, probably.
Yep, it definitely.
Because they are, what did I say? They're replacing the turf after this season. Is that right?
I haven't seen that. I would hope so. It's getting kind of taxed.
Yeah. So I know. Yeah, I noticed tonight around the mound. It looked a little rough.
Yeah.
Right there. I don't know who could have been pacing back. Probably Liam Doyle pacing back and forth. That you're like a wild man. But yeah, I think I've seen, after, barring that Arkansas doesn't collapse this weekend, we'll be done with, and I think the crews are coming in and pretty much going to finish construction, and then the final touches are putting on a new field. So that stadium should look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Based on everything we've seen so far with it. But Kevin Collins, he's already got his Sunday plan. He said, I love drinking on Sundays. Well, tomorrow at 6 o'clock again?
Yeah, because they still have to play the game before us. We wouldn't know that, though. That's just not how we live at Tennessee baseball. We don't know that elimination game.
No, it could be 8 or 9 o'clock when it happens. Yep. I mean, you never know. But I know Frank's probably we had a lot of wind today, or I was going to play disc golf, and I walked outside and watched the wind, and I'm like, there's no way I'm throwing disc golf in this wind today. So I'll be doing that. We'll be ready to roll at 6. Maybe Kerry, maybe he joins from his workplace tomorrow.
Possibly.
Yeah. But we'll be ready to roll tomorrow. Tennessee will play the winner of Cincinnati and Wake Forest tomorrow night. Tennessee wins. They're on to the Supers. If they lose, we'll do it again on Monday. So let's hope. And I think Tennessee's set up really well to take care of business. Do you have any final thoughts on what to me was a clutch, big-time performance tonight in Tennessee.
I mean, prove the haters wrong. At this point, they all thought that Tennessee would be playing tomorrow's noon game, but we proved everybody wrong by doing so. I mean, took care of Miami, Ohio pretty handedly, took Cincinnati by the ropes, and basically handled them the entire game. And then tomorrow, I expect the same thing. I expect Tennessee pitching to shut down the other team, and the bats to rake up on whatever pitching that the other team has at that point. I expect Tennessee to roll tomorrow and book their spot in the Supers, and it would be 14-0 or 14 straight regional wins for
15.
Tony Vitello, or 15 straight. Yeah,
Yep.
and then that's like 11 or 12 straight home games that he's won. So just great job for Tony. If they win tomorrow, another year of Tony not getting beat in regional play. The only time he would have got beat is the Notre Dame game or the Notre Dame series. So other than that, great job by Tony. Great job by the team. Job still not finished. Got to finish tomorrow. Got to book our spot in the Supers.
Yeah, I mean, something you mentioned about it being 12 in a row, something about this 15 in a row was 3 of them were in the Clemson regional. I mean, when they won.
That was crazy.
Oh, my gosh. I still remember that as well. I think they beat, who was it, Charlotte in game 1. You had the Zane Denton heroics in game 2, and then once that happened, that was, what I compared like with the Lady Vols Friday when they had, Thursday, when you have that ending. Sometimes you experience that defeat and you're done. Clemson was done 2 years ago after that. Lady Vols thankfully bounced back and took care of business yesterday. But yeah, 3 of those Tennessee rolled through that regional as well with it. So the only regional losses for Vitello was against North Carolina back in, I think it was 19. But yeah, I mean, the Super, they've done pretty good along the way. But we're going to roll out here. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Be live again tomorrow, live the rest of the way with it, whether it ends this weekend, next weekend, or in Omaha, which hopefully will be in Omaha, but still a long way to go. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had a great show tonight, great support, great win by the Vols. Thanks to Kerry for coming on. He's Kerry. This is Frank. This is the House of Orange. We'll see you when we see you.